I want to talk to you about something that I think gets misunderstood about being an artist. Especially right now, when you're an artist, it's your job to see the world differently. But it's also your job to tell the truth from your perspective. Not necessarily outright, not always literally, and definitely not all at once, because I don't think it's an artist's job to actually explain themselves. I think it's an artist's job to capture their perspective and present it to the world in a way that almost feels impossible for regular people to articulate, and something that feels a little magical. And the strange part is we're living in a time where literally everybody is online, like chronically online, and everyone is sharing their entire story. They're like, oh, this just happened to me, and they're sharing it in real time, every explanation right there on our timelines. And yet the artists who feel the most magnetic are usually the ones who don't do that. They tell the truth, but they do it artfully, and they leave you wondering, did they actually mean that? Was that a metaphor? Is this about that one moment that I heard about a few years ago when they were dating this person? Or is this something deeper? Like, is this a deeper truth that I should look into? And there's something about that wondering that pulls you in as a fan. It's a skill, a real one. It's almost like having a wand, you wave it and suddenly people are leaning in. And that's not because you ask them for their attention, but because they can't quite tell whether you're telling them exactly what happened or weaving some sort of story that's pointing to something bigger, a truth that they might need to uncover in themselves. And both might be true at the same time. And this is where I think about the movie The Prestige. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's with, oh my gosh, what's his name? Anyways, it's about magicians. And I think about this movie often. And if you've seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The entire movie is built around magic, and they talk about how every trick has three parts. There's a pledge, there's a turn, and there's a prestige. The prestige is the final act, the moment when something happens right in front of our eyes. You see it, you know it exists, and you still can't fully explain it. And that's what makes a magic trick great. But if the magician were to ever explain this, if he were to ever reveal his secrets, the entire act would fall apart. The magicians never reveal their secrets, they protect it, because once the secret is explained, that magic slowly disappears. And I think the greatest artists understand this instinctively. They tell the truth, but they never really explain it, or they don't rush to explain it. They encode it, they let it live in their lyrics, they let it live inside the images that they put on their Instagram, they let it live in their music videos, inside the tone, inside the rhythms, inside the silence, when they choose to use silence. Artists don't need to go on big narrative tours talking about, oh, I wrote this song because of that. Some of the biggest artists in the world rarely sit down and break down why they wrote their album. And when they do, it's really special because you get a peek inside their mind. And the biggest artists in the world don't need to sit down and break down what the album is actually about, because the work already holds the truth in it. And you can see this everywhere once you start noticing it. I mean, I don't know why Taylor Swift always comes to my mind, but it's the obvious modern example here. She leaves her audience hanging on every line for fans to dissect the lyrics for years. Was this about that guy? Was this about that time she had that run-in with that other person on stage? Was this written 10 years ago? Was this written last week? And the genius part of this is she never fully confirms it, but her fans believe they know the answer. And that's the prestige in my mind. She never fully confirms it, and she never drains that mystery out of her art, because that wondering is the connection. They get to participate in it. It's not just her. And there's so many artists that do this. I mean, if you read the lyrics from Californication by Red Hot Chili Peppers and you really sit with them, they're saying some of the most honest things imaginable about fame, Hollywood, aging culture, and illusion. They're talking, I think it's literally like, pay your surgeon very well to break the spell of aging. Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. Like, these are lyrics that might sound nonsense, but to the fans who actually dive in, it captivates them. It almost sounds like surreal wordplay, like there's fragments, but once it clicks and you realize, oh my gosh, there's so much truth here, and the truth is hiding in plain sight this whole time, that creates gravity from an artist, because the artist did their job. And now here's where a lot of artists get this wrong. You don't leave people wondering by lying. The real heart of this is it has to be true, because one lie leads to another, and eventually the whole thing falls apart. And if you say something in your art that you don't actually believe, or that isn't real for you, even if it's coded in your lyrics, people will feel it. If you're rapping about having $1 million and driving a Bugatti, but like that's not you, audiences are more intuitive than we think. And if the emotional core isn't real, the trust fades. Like, the prestige only works because the truth is inside the trick. That's our responsibility as artists. That's your job is to take that truth from your perspective and paint it, sing it, film it, write it in a way that feels like magic. And that feels like magic to someone who doesn't have the language for it yet, or that can't create that magic, because you are an artist and your perspective is unique, but you need to keep people wondering. And from that moment when a fan hears one of your lyrics and thinks, oh, that's exactly what I'm going through, I just never have heard it said that way before, and it resonates with them so deeply, or I wonder if that's what they meant by this lyric, that wondering, it's a spell for fans, because most people are tired. Most people, they're working, they're stressed. They don't get many moments of awe in their life anymore. And as an artist, when you create something that makes someone pause and it makes someone think and it makes them feel seen, you pull them into your orbit. When you're writing your lyrics, when you're creating your visuals, when you're posting your content, please remember this. Tell the truth, but don't rush to explain it. Let the prestige happen. Leave the audience wondering, and trust that if it's real, the magic will happen.